And that's why we really like the term legacy, because those fish that are donated, like yours at spawn, is making a significant impact, and you're leaving a lasting legacy by being one of those anglers that contributes to that. And really, your kids and grandkids are going to be able to benefit from that, and that's an amazing legacy to leave as an individual that impacts the greater good of Texas anglers. I think what I hope is that we as anglers can get around the movement and appreciate what it's trying to do, because I mean, we're trying to answer some of the golden questions of what influences your ability to catch a lunker. Is it bait? Is it, time of year? Is it water temperature? Is it moon phase?
The 13-pound bass that are donated to this program are known as the legacy class. For whatever reason we might pursue a trophy bass, we can always use the end result of that pursuit for the greater good. With the collective help of anglers like us, Kyle Brookshire and the Sharelunker team believe we can leave our fisheries better than we found them. That's the definition of legacy, and something every angler should strive for.
When you're donating it to the Parks and Wildlife, people have all kinds of reasons. My reasons were really straightforward. I really wanted to ensure a higher survival rate for the fry that fish was carrying. That was really important to me. I also wanted a good genetic pool. You can guarantee a good genetic pool if you loan your fish to the Sharelunker program. I
hope people understand that it's more than just terminology at this point. It's really about making Texas bass fishing bigger and better, and that's what the goal is, and that's what we're all trying to get behind and do.
So after loaning my Sharelunker to the state of Texas, giving them the fish, I had a lot of requests. This is a once-in-a-lifetime event. There were a lot of things that I wanted to do after I caught my Sharelunker. I wanted to visit the Texas Freshwater Fisheries Center. That's where they keep all the Sharelunkers, in a place that they call the Lunker bunker.
Yeah, this is a big deal to me. I'm 30 and this is a lifetime catch. Yeah, but I'll tell you this, I'm not gonna just be content with this one. I am happy about it, but I'm not gonna quit fishing or,
Go that way.
So that 15-pounder, that's a giant fish, right?
Yes, she is.
I caught a 9-pounder in the same area that 15 was caught the week before I caught my lunker. And I caught my lunker in a totally different area of the lake than where the 15 was caught. And so what I've read is the 15 was 91%. This is the Lunker bunker.
Basically, after we get the fish, we give them about a week and a half, 2 weeks, depending on where it came from in the state, and what really our water temperature is, because our facility water comes from Lake Athens, so a lot of the process is dictated by water temperature out of that water as well. So specifically the Alex's fish, it came in very healthy, and so we monitor it for about a week and a half, and through that we're just basically, when we get the fish, we put it into what we call sort of ICU. We treat the fish, we sedate it, we treat it. Any sores or scrapes that it has, it's gotten in the process of the angling process, the transport process, and from there we monitor it for about a week just to see how it's doing. And we'd like to see them eat before we try to pair them up and spawn them, and Alex's fish ate really well.
Wow.
Right back there.
Oh, wow. Here, Alexander. So you see her? She's over there. Come on here.
Yeah, I see. This is her lunch.
Her, which one?
This trout.
Oh, wow.
She'll be eating.
That's the fish, but they're feeding them in the tank.
Yeah.
That's incredible. So do they find places they like in these tanks?
Yes.
And where will the mat be placed?
We will actually move her to a different location in the spawner. When we first opened, these tanks were all this lovely bright blue, and the fish they just never settled down. So we painted the insides gray, and then you can see that we added the painted grass, and then the grass rings. usually they stay right around the grass string.
Okay.
Can you get one fish per tank?
Right. That way we can isolate the fish, we can watch it very closely. Also, we can monitor their food in and out.
So how often do you check on them?
3 to 4 times a day.
Wow.
I have, first thing in the morning, last thing in the evening. So they're looked at every day, a couple two at a time. This one has the fish we took out of the dive tank. And she's pretty jumpy.
That's a male?
Oh, right there.
Oh.
She is very jumpy, so we
she's a big one.
Yeah.
yes. She was just over 13 when she was caught at Marine Creek last year.
Okay, that's Ryder's fish. Okay.
And, we kept her in the dive tank feeding her koi pretty much every day for the next year. And she was 16.3 when we moved her.
Did you hear that? That fish is 16 pounds right now. So are you preparing this tank for the one that's coming in?
Yes, it's ready to go. We've got the salt, we've got water treatment, and everything's ready. And we'll knock her out in that blue cooler, pit tag her, take a tissue sample, and then put her in this one.
So the cooler kind of stuns them a little
Well,
bit?
we put anesthetic in there,
Okay.
and that knocks them out. It's just a real mild sedative. See, like Derek's getting everything ready, so that when Kyle gets back here, we can just put the fish in.
Okay. So can you tell me about the mating process? So the males are nearby somewhere?
The males are out here.
Okay.
A Sharelunker provides a very rare opportunity to study bass with a superior genetic makeup. But it's their participation in the selective breeding program that delivers the most immediate impact to Texas fishing.
Look at the shape of this fish, Jeff. Look at the shape of this fish. That fish has a massive body.
Every Sharelunker donated is given the chance to spawn, with the hopes of producing offspring that possess the same characteristics that allowed their parents to reach trophy size. This is achieved by pairing Sharelunkers with specially chosen males.
The males that we pair them up with are offspring from previously caught donated Sharelunkers that spawned, and so they're paired up with pure Florida Sharelunker offspring males.
You're going to have a higher quality offspring going back into the lake that you catch your fish from.
The Florida genetics have kind of shown over the years to grow bigger and faster.
To selective breeding programs, the Florida strain largemouth bass is critical, as they've shown to grow much larger than the northern strain counterpart.
The Florida seem to produce bigger bass in Texas over the northerns. I think that's a very good track record of that with all the Sharelunkers caught, and how the state record went from just over 10, 12, 13 pounds to now 18 pounds, and several that were well over 13 pounds between now and then. With that being said, we're still trying to dig into that genetic code and find what are those pieces in the genetic code that influence that bass to reach 13 pounds. And something in the Florida strain has it. We're still trying to figure out what that is. And so whether that's aggression or, you can get into the weeds of that real quick, but it's impressive to see a fish grow that large.
So the fingerling, so my bass will be brought here.
She'll go into bracelet 5. We already know
Okay.
where she's going. She's already got her home forever.
Okay.
We haven't picked out her boyfriend yet. But
She needs a special kind of male.
she does get a special male.
I don't know if she was as aggressive with you all as me, but that fish was very aggressive.
One of the cool things is Toyota's been our title sponsor for around 9 or 10 years now, and they've been extremely good to us. And through that sponsorship, we've been able to attain and acquire some of the highest, most advanced genetic equipment that you can have. And so that's allowed us to really identify in these bass, we can identify offspring from Sharelunkers that have been caught and donated.
The next door neighbor to Alex's fish that we passed by earlier is one of those fish. This is Sharelunker number 566, caught out of Marine Creek Lake in Fort Worth in 2017. Biologists confirmed that it was in fact the direct offspring of Sharelunker number 410, whose fingerlings had been stocked into the lake 11 years earlier. These catches are the most convincing proof that the program is working.
And so we've had several of those caught, I think 5 or 6 caught, that were direct offsprings, that first generation offspring from a Sharelunker that was spawned in our hatchery. Their fry were raised to fingerlings, or 6 inches in our hatchery, and then stocked out into those lakes. So it's pretty interesting.
In 2018, the Sharelunker program was expanded year-round to include qualifying bass weighing at least 8 pounds and measuring 24 inches long. Anglers can now be recognized as Sharelunker participants in return for providing scale samples and general information of these catches. That influx of data is critical to moving the program forward, according to the Sharelunker team.
So we expanded the program this year in January, and basically what that came from was a 1.5 to 2 year long in-depth evaluation of the program. And we kind of had 3 major points that we come up with that we really needed to try to hit as we move forward in the future of the program. And one of those is to increase participation. Another one is to increase the number of Sharelunker offspring that are stocked. And then in addition to that, we want to be able to evaluate the impact that Sharelunker stockings have had up until this point. So like Lake Fork, well, obviously we know it produces big fish, but there's other lakes around here, smaller lakes, that our biologists really don't have a whole lot of really good data on trophy bass, 8 pounds plus, lunker-sized fish. And that is in part due to because our sampling methods that they have, they do electroshocking, they sample the lakes. It doesn't really affect fish that large. And so really a lot of that's relied on angler-driven data. And so that was a huge piece of that expansion. And including that, we wanted increased participation. People want to be involved in the process, and citizen scientists' efforts of our anglers is huge.
The expansion did come with some initial opposition from those who said this diminished the prestige of catching and donating a 13+ pound bass. But the Sharelunker program has a much different perspective on this, one that they say will actually benefit Texas fishing in the long run.
Let's say we get 100 fish that are 10 pounds submitted through the app or the website, and then they mail in those scale samples to us, and we analyze their DNA and determine that 5 of them are direct offspring from Sharelunkers. They just hadn't got that size yet. I mean, that's phenomenal. We can really see an overall picture, a good portion of the population of these, lunker-sized bass. What ones are up and coming Sharelunkers? We went through that for years. I mean, for 1.5 years at least. We talked, and that was the first thing we brought up, was the validity in the name and what over time history has created. And so we definitely, it wasn't a decision that was made lightly. I can say that much for sure.
Here, these are the males that we'll be using with your fish.
Oh.
One of these guys.
Wow.
I don't know which one yet. And each one of these fish is tagged, just like we've tagged your fish.
Okay.
So that we can pick him up and say, okay, that's
When you scan him, you'll know.
exactly.
They've been implanted with microchips? Wow.
Every fish, all of these fish, and your fish both. So if was caught again after she's released, and that's happened several times, we can scan her, and we'll know exactly all the history we have on her.
That's incredible.
But we'll pick the male, we'll put a mat in over here, and again, she'll spawn. Her eggs we will actually remove from the mat and hatch in isolation, separate from the other fish.
But these are all pure Florida.
Right, they are the offspring of 2 different Sharelunkers
So-
that we had in the past, and their fathers were offspring from Sharelunkers.
So how did you guys figure out the mats were the ideal
Trial and error.
trial and error? What did you start? What were some other ideas?
When I first started, we had basically hubcaps filled with rocks, pea gravel,
Okay, pea gravel.
and that didn't work so well. AstroTurf, and we've tried indoor-outdoor carpet, and the most successful thing we've had has been this, what's called Spontex, and it's basically shredded coconut shell.
Okay.
It looks a lot like air conditioner filter material.
Okay. Do you think bass spawn in inclement weather, so we're gonna have a lot of rain, storms.
We have them spawn here. You know, if we have a night with thunderstorms and rain, we'll come in the next morning and there'll be spawns all over the place.
Wow.
And then the next night there may not be any. It just, if they're ready to go, they're gonna go.
Regardless of moon phase, or does the moon phase impact the spawns in here? Wow.
Sorry.
So let's, well, I think this is awesome because, I mean, you're a specialist and you get a lot of opportunities to scientifically look at these things. And we have a lot of misconceptions or thoughts as anglers.
Part of my job is upstairs with the visitor center. So going out and I'll watch kids fish, and there may be a 4 or 5-year-old that's fishing for the first time, and when he catches very pissed for her career first fish, and she's like, I got my first fish, and it's a catfish, and it was this big.
Great.
The theater's in here.
This is where the dive show is? All right.
Oh, there you go.
So is this everything involved with the Sharelunker program? These two, they come in right here, I'm guessing?
They'll come in the first day.
Okay. So we do the spawns with our Sharelunkers, and they're isolated. They've got their own mat. How do we ensure that their offspring go back into their lake, or is it impossible?
We track the fish from the time they spawn, because if you come over here.
This is a tough one, I know.
It's tough because in a way it's not really. When they spawn the fish, we remove the eggs from the mats for those lunkers.
Okay.
And their eggs hatch in these jars right here.
Wow. The eggs from the lunkers hatch here.
So this is set up for lunker spawning, and we'll put the eggs from one fish in one jar. When they start to swim up, that jar will be taken to one pond.
Okay.
And they will be raised in that one pond.
From that one fish.
From one fish.
Wow. You see how, like, I mean, that's got to be super expensive, but I mean, they're taking a lot of effort to know where their offspring are coming from.
And then those fish will be, when they're ready to harvest, we'll bring them down, and they will go wherever they're designated to.
Okay.
How much do you guys talk about the breaking that state record weight? Is that something you guys talk about, or is it just?
At one point, that was a big goal with the Sharelunker program. It was Operation World Record.
That's right. Yeah.
OWR.
And that effort, I think, is moving. I'm not saying it's gone, because breaking the world record is like totally awesome. But I think now our emphasis is more on a good quality fish, a quality trophy fish, in as many of our lakes as possible.
Thank you, Debbie. This has been the highlight of my week here.
I think our goal is overall is to make bass fishing in Texas bigger and better. That's really where our new slogan came from, bigger, better bass. And with that would be a new state record. We'd love to see it broken. I think, in my own humble opinion, I would love to see a 20-pounder caught. I think it'd be phenomenal.